Hey there, it's Tom, Tom's Tech Show. Today we're out at the beach, and you can see I've got the sun and everything going down behind me. Um, I've got my camera set up here on a tripod, of course, because we're going to be taking some longer photography. I've got my neutral density filters here, and that way I can take some of the beach and the waves and stuff in the beach, and it'll smooth them out. It'll just be like glass. Hopefully the waves won't come in and get me, but here we go. Then later we'll go back and we'll edit those back at the office. All right, here we go. Hey there, so okay, I've got all of my neutral density filters set onto the camera here. You can see we've got 3 of them sitting here in the front. If I look down here at the screen right now, you can see up here in the corner here, there's a little bit of vignetting. There's a little bit of the filters are actually, there's 3 of them out there. So I did have a UV filter on, which was setting out even further, and it was blocking even more. So I took the UV filter off, and now it's cut back a little bit, but now we can just hit the button and let it take and try and get it. I'm trying to get it when the ocean is at its least waviness. Every once in a while, like there's a wave coming in there, and I probably don't want that. So once it gets up here, you're kind of flattening out, then I take a picture, and then from there, then we go and are able to get that more creaminess once the picture is done. Like here, it's probably a good one. Okay, yeah. So we're going to continue on. I mean, you can see there's a really good sunset coming down. Just all the yellowy, orangey colors are going to be there. It's really going to look, I think it's going to look good. Since one of my favorite places to shoot is out here at the pier, just because it's got all the little things. It's got nice beach here, and the pier, and the sunset comes down over here. Out here further are all the, you can see way out here on the edge past the pier, the Channel Islands that are out there. So during times of the year, the sun will set a little bit more over that way. Okay, well, I'm going to keep shooting, and so once I get all these done, then we'll head back and we'll do some developing, see what happens. Hey there, I'm back from the beach, and I just brought up these photographs, just got them copied them over, brought them into Lightroom. I can already see that I did a couple of just regular HDR kind of bracketed shots, and I can already see that the camera is tilting. So I did at some point adjust the tripod so that they were level, but I can still level them out in Lightroom here. We can take and do the crop tool. We can set the angle, whoa, a little bit more like that, so that the I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring up much, open the shadows up much on this one. Yeah, a little bit. We can go to the standard shot and kind of drag it so it's more level here. Okay, so this one's got a lot of waves. This is obviously before I put the neutral density filter on. But I can bring down the highlights, open up the shadows a little bit, pull the blacks down a little bit, so it kind of adds a nice little warmth to it. Just kick the clarity up a little bit. So that, I mean, that doesn't look too bad. I mean, you can still see there's a lot of waves and stuff in it. You can go really crazy and make it, kill the saturation on it, but I don't want to do that. I can do something like this, where I just take a small filter here that I can use to kind of adjust some of the exposure in the foreground. That gives me a little bit more brightness to the front of the photograph, so that way you can kind of see a little bit more in the front. So that seems alright. Often I'll put just a little vignette around the edges, kind of get your eye kind of going to the center. Okay, so that's kind of one of those little sunset shots. But what we're really here to do is to watch and to look at what happened with the neutral density filter. So you can already see some of these, like this one here. You can see really the edge of the filter there. I mean, you can see it right there. Depending on the focus of the camera, that's really going to show up at some parts. So I can increase my thumbnail size here, and maybe we can see if one of these photos came out with some really, like that one seems pretty good right there. Let's go to develop. Okay, so I know right now I need to kind of crop out my little edges here. Okay, so you can see how the ocean is just like this cloud here, right? It's just like this smooth little cloud. Makes a nice little thing. I can drop my highlights down just a little bit. Just open the shadows up, get me that rocks and stuff. Decrease my blacks, open my whites up a little bit. Maybe do a little bit of clarity up, because I don't want to get too much clarity in the ocean part. I may actually create a brush there and go over that, and then just touch up the saturation a little bit. So I'm going to take a brush here, turn the clarity way down. We're going to reduce this in size. We're going to get the feathering part, reduce that a little bit, and I don't want clarity. I want less clarity, because I don't want it to be quite so nice. I want it to be the buttery smoothness. I don't want the roughness. I want buttery smoothness. We like the butter inside there. Okay, so just kind of going over that. You can already see what happened as I'm kind of taking this out. I don't want it on the rocks there. I just want it on the ocean part here. Okay, so you can already kind of see what's happened is here underneath the sunset part, we're getting a really good sheen of that sunset coming down right across the water there, and that's really starting to kind of light up right there in the water and stuff. So I really like that. So that one actually came out really well. I'd see if I can see what these. So this is so 1.6 seconds at f10 ISO 100. So that gave a lot of time for the water to move around. I think some of the other ones were 2 seconds that I saw on the thing, but this 1.6 seconds was pretty good. Just getting that moving. So my filters that I put somewhere. Hello, filters. They're not on my jacket. Filters. Sorry, found my filters. Okay, so if we look at these filters, there is this one is a, geez, I need my eyes checked. This one's an ND8, so you can see this one that's really, really dark. That's an 8, and then we have this is an ND4, so you can see my fingers behind it, right? So that's less dark, and then we have this one, which is an ND2. So we have a 2, a 4, and an 8. So I can make basically every even combination up to 14. So, and that's what I did. I put them all on, which gives me an a reduction of 14 stops. So that's why the exposure needs to take a long time. That's why it's kind of all that water that's moving is just kind of overly exposing, making it's blurry, but it makes it nice because it's just kind of a powdery, cloudy, set of water. So I wonder if there's any more of them. That one's actually 2 seconds, so you can see it's even butterier, except for that wave that was starting there. I don't know if there's one without that wave in there. So no, it kind of looks like the one I had initially was probably a pretty good one. You gotta take a lot of these. You have to be, in order to be a photographer, you have to do some crazy things, like you have to get up early, go to bed late, spend a lot of time out in the cold, fighting the wind, the cold, and everything else. I mean, okay, it wasn't that cold. It was like 55 degrees where we used to live. It would get into the 20s. So I know you're not sad for me. But I think I'm going to brighten up this area here, right here in the front. I kind of want a little bit of, put the clarity back, and I'm just going to increase the exposure just a tad, because I want that to be, if I kill the clarity? No, that won't do it. What if I dehaze it? What happens? Holy crap. That is not good. Okay, so we'll just increase the exposure a little bit, get it back up to where it's kind of nice there. I don't know, I might do some other things like maybe come around and want to get rid of all that. It'd be nice to get rid of all the footprints and stuff on the sand, because there were a lot of them. And I don't know, maybe we won't do that right now. So we'll back those out. Okay. So I think that would be the only thing I would do to this picture, is kind of drop something in to get rid of all the footprints and stuff in there. I could have probably waited until maybe the water had washed over them, but I was standing right there, so I didn't want to get my feet all wet. I've had to dive in. I had this camera in Mexico recording some ocean waves, and it was sitting there in the sand, and the waves actually came in far enough and almost took it away. I had to run out and jump in the waves and dive and save it. So yep. But anyway, I like this one. I'll post this picture. Maybe I'll just crop it a little bit more, and that'll kind of get rid of some of the footprints there. I don't want to go too high and kind of burn my rule of thirds there. Okay, that seems pretty good. All right, well, I'll post this one and put it on Facebook and other stuff. So that's kind of how I use my neutral density filters. And if you've got some, they're not expensive, so go buy some. You can play around with them. If you close the aperture all the way down, you could probably get the shutter to maybe 3 seconds and really make it even smoother, cloudier waves and stuff. So, but anyway, so that is a photography episode for today. If you like this episode, then hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see more episodes like this, then subscribe to my channel, hit the little bell, all that fun YouTube stuff. And I also do videos on technology and movies and TV things that I like. So just basically, if I like it, I'm making videos about it. And if you like all the same things, just subscribe, and then we can share that all together. All right? Well, comment down below, and maybe there's something else you want to talk about, photography-wise, or Orville, or, any of those kinds of things. And I've taken suggestions before and made videos, so if you've got some, go ahead and suggest. All right, well, thanks for watching this one, and go out there, keep the cameras going, and take some